Most traders are obsessed with winning. Winning today! Winning this trade. Winning this setup. Winning this week. And for years, I thought that was normal. After all, if you're losing money, shouldn't you focus on winning more? That's what everyone says. That's what every trading guru sells. That's what every beginner believes. But the strange thing is, the biggest improvement in my trading didn't happen when I found a better strategy. It didn't happen when I learned a new pattern. And it definitely didn't happen when I started predicting the market better. It happened the day I stopped caring whether my next trade won or lost. That sounds insane. Because if you're watching this right now, there's a good chance you're still measuring your progress the same way most traders do. You have a winning day. You feel like a genius. You have a losing day. You feel like an idiot. One trade controls your confidence. One candle controls your mood. 1 week controls your entire belief in yourself. And without realizing it, you've turned trading into an emotional roller coaster. The market goes up. Your emotions go up. The market goes down. Your emotions go down. You aren't trading anymore. You're reacting. And until that changes, profitability stays out of reach. Not because you're stupid. Not because your strategy is bad. But because you're playing the wrong game. The problem starts long before a trader ever opens a chart. It starts with how we're wired. Think about it. Your entire life, you've been rewarded for being right. In school, right answers get good grades. In sports, right decisions win games. In business, right moves make money. So naturally, when people discover trading, they bring that same mindset with them. They assume success comes from being right more often. But the market doesn't work that way. And that's where the confusion begins. A beginner enters a trade. The trade wins. They feel smart. The next trade loses. Suddenly they question everything. The strategy. The analysis. The market. Themselves. Nothing actually changed. But emotionally, everything changed. Because they weren't attached to the process. They were attached to the outcome. And that's a dangerous place to be. Imagine a casino owner walking into work every morning. Do you think he's worried about whether the next customer wins? Of course not. He understands something most traders never do. Individual outcomes don't matter. Only the long-term edge matters. Some customers will leave with money. Most won't. But the casino doesn't panic after one lucky winner. The casino doesn't rewrite its business model after a bad day. The casino trusts the numbers. Now compare that to the average trader. 1 loss, and they change the strategy. 2 losses, and they start doubting themselves. 3 losses, and they start searching YouTube for a completely different system. They spend years jumping from strategy to strategy, indicator to indicator, mentor to mentor, never realizing the real problem isn't the strategy. It's their relationship with uncertainty. Because deep down, they still believe every trade should prove something. They want every position to validate their intelligence. They want every winning trade to confirm they're becoming successful. And every losing trade feels like evidence that they're failing. That's exhausting, because the market was never designed to give you certainty. The market rewards people who can operate without it. The people who survive the longest aren't necessarily the smartest. They're the ones who stop demanding certainty from a system that can never provide it. And the moment that truth finally sinks in, everything starts to look different. There's another problem most traders never notice, and it's far more dangerous than a bad strategy. It's the addiction to being right. At first, it sounds harmless. Who doesn't want to be right? But trading changes the meaning of being right. Because in trading, being right feels good. Really good. A winning trade creates excitement, relief, confidence, validation. For a moment, everything feels okay. You feel smart. You feel capable. You feel like you're finally figuring it out. Then something strange happens. You start chasing that feeling, not profits. The feeling. And that's where trouble begins. Because now every trade becomes emotional. Every setup becomes personal. Every outcome becomes a judgment of who you are. Imagine spending hours analyzing a chart, marking levels, studying price action, planning your entry. Then the trade loses. Suddenly, it doesn't feel like the trade was wrong. It feels like you were wrong. That's the trap. The trader begins attaching their identity to their results. Winning means, I'm good. Losing means, I'm bad. And over time, that emotional dependency becomes exhausting, because now the market controls your self-esteem. One green day, and you're confident. One red day, and you're questioning everything. The strategy, the future, your potential, even yourself. Think about how crazy that is. A market made up of millions of participants can change your mood in seconds. Not because it controls your account, Because it controls your emotions. And the market is merciless when emotions take over. That's why so many traders revenge trade. They aren't trying to make money back. They're trying to remove pain. They aren't trying to improve performance. They're trying to protect their ego. The loss hurts. The ego wants relief, so the trader enters again. Then again. Then again. Not because the setup is there. Because the emotion is, and emotions make terrible traders. The market doesn't care how frustrated you are. It doesn't care how badly you need a win. It doesn't care that you've had a rough week. It doesn't care that you lost your last 3 trades. The market simply moves. And every time you ask the market to fix your emotions, you give it power over you. That's why profitable traders eventually stop asking a dangerous question. The question is, did I win? Instead, they ask, did I execute correctly? That small shift changes everything, because now success is under your control. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the process. You can't control the next candle, but you can control your discipline. You can't control whether the trade wins, but you can control whether you followed your rules. And that's where freedom begins. Because once you stop needing every trade to validate you, the emotional pressure disappears. The fear starts fading. The desperation starts fading. The constant need to be right starts fading. And for the first time, you begin seeing the market clearly, not through emotion, not through hope, not through fear, but through probability. And that's the exact moment trading starts changing. Not your strategy, not your indicator. You. And that's when profitable traders begin separating themselves from everyone else. For years, I thought profitable traders had something I didn't. More knowledge, more experience, more discipline, maybe even more talent. There had to be something. Because I was working hard, studying, learning, watching charts, taking notes, trying to improve. Yet somehow, I kept finding myself trapped in the same cycle. Win, feel confident. Lose, feel terrible. Repeat, again, and again, and again. Then one day, something happened. Not a breakthrough trade. Not a huge winning streak. Not a secret strategy. A realization. A simple realization, the market was never asking me to predict the future. The market was asking me to manage uncertainty. And those are completely different skills. Think about that. Most traders wake up every day trying to be right. Profitable traders wake up every day trying to execute correctly. One group is focused on outcomes. The other is focused on process. And over time, that difference becomes enormous. Imagine a professional basketball player. Do they obsess over every single shot? No, because they understand something.
Some shots go in.
Some don't. Their job isn't to control every outcome. Their job is to take high-quality shots consistently. Trading works the same way. A good trade can lose. A bad trade can win. 1 trade proves nothing. 5 trades prove nothing. Even 10 trades prove very little. But most traders never think that way. They look at every trade like it's a final exam. Every entry feels important. Every loss feels personal. Every mistake feels catastrophic. And because of that, they never give their edge enough time to work. They keep interrupting the process. Changing strategies. Changing rules. Changing risk. Changing everything. Except themselves. Then the realization hit me. The next trade didn't matter. Not because trading didn't matter. Because one trade means almost nothing. If I truly had an edge, the next 100 trades mattered more than the next one. That idea changed everything. Suddenly losses felt smaller. Because they weren't personal anymore. Suddenly wins felt smaller too. Because they weren't proof of genius. They were simply outcomes. Nothing more. Nothing less. And for the first time, I felt free. Free from needing validation. Free from needing certainty. Free from needing the market to tell me I was good enough. Because my success was no longer measured by outcomes. It was measured by execution. Did I follow my rules? Did I manage risk? Did I remain patient? Did I execute my edge? That's it. And something strange happened. The less I cared about individual wins, the better my trading became. Not immediately. Not dramatically. Gradually, the emotional swings became smaller. The fear became smaller. The frustration became smaller. And clarity started replacing emotion. That's when I finally understood something profitable traders know. They aren't obsessed with winning. They're obsessed with consistency, because consistency creates confidence. Confidence creates discipline. Discipline creates longevity. And longevity gives your edge time to work. That's the game. Not predicting every move. Not winning every trade. Not proving you're smarter than the market. Simply showing up and executing the same process over and over again. And once that finally clicked, trading stopped feeling like a battle. It started feeling like a profession. The strange thing about profitable traders is that they stop caring about many of the things beginners obsess over. They stop obsessing over being right. They stop obsessing over every single loss. They stop obsessing over daily profits. And they start caring about something far more important. Consistency. Think about it. Most traders wake up asking, how much money can I make today? Profitable traders ask, can I execute my process today? That difference sounds small, but it changes everything. Because one question is focused on outcomes. The other is focused on behavior. And behavior is where long-term success lives. Most traders are trying to control the market. Profitable traders are trying to control themselves. Most traders are looking for certainty. Profitable traders accept uncertainty. Most traders are searching for a shortcut. Profitable traders are building a system, and that's why their results eventually separate. Not because they know something magical, because they value different things. Imagine two traders, both have the same strategy, the same edge, the same account size. One trader focuses on money, the other focuses on execution. After a losing streak, the first trader becomes emotional. The second trader reviews the process. After a winning streak, the first trader becomes overconfident. The second trader sticks to the rules. One becomes reactive. The other remains consistent. Years later, their accounts tell completely different stories, not because of the strategy, because of the mindset behind it. That's the lesson most people learn too late. The market doesn't reward intensity, it rewards consistency. It doesn't reward excitement, it rewards discipline. It doesn't reward people who occasionally do the right thing. It rewards people who repeatedly do the right thing, even when they don't feel like it. Even when they're frustrated, even when they're losing, even when nobody is watching. That's professionalism. And professionalism is boring. Painfully boring. There's no adrenaline in following the same process. There's no excitement in waiting for the right setup. There's no glory in sitting on your hands while everyone else is chasing trades. But that's exactly why it works. Because most people can't do it. Most people need action, need excitement, need constant validation. And the market punishes that need relentlessly. Profitable traders eventually become comfortable with something most people fear: boredom. Because they understand a powerful truth. Boring trading is usually good trading. The best trades often feel ordinary. The best decisions often feel repetitive. The best habits often feel unremarkable. Yet those ordinary actions create extraordinary results over time. And that's where the real transformation happens. The trader stops trying to become rich and starts trying to become consistent. The trader stops trying to predict everything and starts trying to execute correctly. The trader stops asking, how much can I make? And starts asking, how well can I perform? That shift changes everything. Because now success becomes controllable. And when success becomes controllable, confidence starts growing naturally. Not because you're winning more, because you're improving more. And improvement is something nobody can take away from you. Not the market. Not a losing streak. Not a bad month. Not a bad year. Because once you truly understand the process, you stop needing every outcome to make you feel okay. And that's the day trading becomes much easier. Not because the market changed, because you changed. So what happened after I stopped caring about winning trades? Did I suddenly become profitable? No. Did I stop taking losses? No. Did the market suddenly become easier? Not at all. The losses still came. The uncertainty was still there. The difficult days still existed. But something important changed. For the first time, I stopped fighting reality. Because reality was never the problem. The market was never the problem. The problem was my expectations. I expected certainty from an uncertain environment. I expected immediate results from a long-term process. I expected every trade to prove something. And those expectations created suffering. The moment I let them go, everything became simpler. Not easy, simpler. Because now I understood my real job. My job wasn't to predict. My job wasn't to impress myself. My job wasn't to win every trade. My job was to execute. Again, and again, and again. Whether the previous trade won or lost. Whether I felt confident or doubtful. Whether I was having a good week or a terrible one. Just execute. That's professionalism. And the strange thing is, Once you start thinking that way, you begin noticing something. The traders who survive the longest aren't the ones with the biggest egos. They're not the ones making the boldest predictions. They're not the ones trying to prove how smart they are. They're usually the calmest people in the room, the most patient, the most disciplined, the least emotional. Because they've learned something most traders never do. Trading isn't about defeating the market. It's about managing yourself. And once you understand that, the entire game changes. You stop chasing certainty. You stop chasing validation. You stop chasing perfection. And you start focusing on the only thing you can truly control. Your actions. Your decisions. Your process. That's where confidence comes from. Not from winning. From trust. Trust that you'll follow your rules. Trust that you'll manage risk. Trust that you'll stay disciplined when emotions appear. That's real confidence. And real confidence survives losses. Because it's built on behavior, not outcomes. So if you're struggling right now, if you're stuck in the cycle of needing every trade to work, if you're constantly judging yourself based on wins and losses, remember this. The day I stopped caring about winning trades wasn't the day I became profitable. It was the day I stopped thinking like a gambler and started thinking like a professional. And looking back, that changed everything. If this video helped you see trading differently, subscribe. Because on this channel, we're not trying to predict the market. We're trying to understand the mindset required to survive it. And that's where real progress begins. The day I stopped caring about winning trades wasn't the day I became profitable. It was the day I stopped thinking like a gambler and started thinking like a professional.